Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome once again to all those who have joined the session today. My name is Manish, and I'll be your host today. And I'm also joined in today by our friends and folks from Support One, our gold partner in Golden, Colorado. Jason couldn't join, so I'm joined today by Lacey, who is the marketing director at Support One. In the next about 45 minutes or so, I will take you through the whole discussion around mobility, okay, and its different connotations. So mobility indeed is a buzzword today, and again, it is quite validated. So then, as I said, in the next 45 minutes or so, we will talk about what are the trends and strategies around mobile deployment by retailers today. We will talk about the different types of retailers who are aggressively looking for or are deploying mobile solutions in their organizations. We will talk about the different categories of mobile solutions available today for the retailers and how the retailers are strategizing to deploy them. Uh, and of course, the larger discussion around consumer facing mobile solutions versus mobile solutions for in-store associates, the application that a retailer would deploy to be used by the internal staff. That kind of discussion. And talking specifically about the retailer, we'll discuss about what are the driving factors for a retailer to adopt mobile solutions for his in-store staff. And from a consumer standpoint, we will talk about the recent innovations that are ensuring that a retailer is as they say, a top of the mind retailer and all that increasing revenue. As we move along, we also talk about some of the best practices in deploying mobile solutions, the best practices that a retailer needs to be aware of when evaluating and eventually implementing a retail mobile solution. So all that and much more as we move along in the next 45 minutes. Uh, as I said, it will be more of an extempore and it will be more of sharing my experiences in the recent past, in the recent times with you that I've had. And that's how I want to drive the webinar today. The way the entire webinar is structured, I'll talk about certain statistics to begin with. And then the second part of the webinar talks about the mobile solutions as applicable to retailers and more importantly, the internal staff of a retailer, especially the point of sale people and the field staff people. The last part of the presentation talks about mobility as applicable in the context of consumers. So how consumers are utilizing mobility for shopping and related activities. It could be shopping on a mobile device and digital passes and coupons and that kind of discussion. So let's start with a few statistics here. About 2 years ago, we noted that retailers had a fairly consistent when it came to the top store priorities. There are 5 priorities that dominated for many years: better tools for associates, PCI compliance, advanced CRM loyalty systems, inventory visibility, and speed of checking out through the checkout counters. This all started to change in about 2010, 11, 2012 timeframe with a shift towards mobility, and it continues to this year where we see that more than 82% of the respondents cited mobility for either associates or customer engagement, either ways. 82% of respondents cited mobility as a top priority. And this is the single highest percentage on the priority list in the past 7 years. Clearly, mobility is a big point of focus for retailers. Breaking the numbers down, as we see that mobility for associates was claimed as a priority by 61%, and mobility for consumers to be a very close behind 58%. So these statistics, of course, validate the fact that and sets the tone for the webinar today, where we talk about mobility as applicable in the context of retailers and as applicable in the context of end consumers. And close behind mobility was advanced CRM and loyalty programs. which is the only priority that the retailers have placed in the top 5 priorities. And of course, another significant mention is for cross-channel and omni-channel integration, which has been considered as a priority by 45%. And this is influenced by the consumer's desire today to access multiple sales channels for purchasing, receiving, and returning items. So having discussed these trends and stats, I would now like to discuss what are the different types of mobile solutions available for retailers. Okay, as I said earlier, all the mobile solutions that exist and mobility in the context of retailers can be categorized into 2 types. One which are customer facing, with consumer facing, and the other which are for in-store associates. For the in-store associates, we are essentially looking at a point-of-sale solution on a mobile handheld device, which could be on any of the 3 form factors. It could be tablets, the rugged handheld devices, which are essentially, should I say, rugged handheld devices. How do I correlate them? We're looking at Windows-based, slightly rugged devices, and then the third category are the non-rugged handheld devices, essentially the iPads and the Android tablets. Well, we talk about the stats of their adoption in a subsequent slide. It is the tablets and the non-rugged handhelds which have been more popular. And mobile point-of-sale solutions on the floor, again, has many different use cases. Mobile POS are used by large format retail chains, as much as they're used by specialty retailers. And we talk about this as we move along in the presentation. But to talk through the slide that is there on your screen, the top store system priorities remain mobility for associates, for consumers, mobility as applicable in loyalty. Another priority is omnichannel integration, and of course, PCI compliance has always remained as one of the channels. So, if that be the case, what are the spending plans of retailers for mobility in the stores? And let's get slightly more specific here from a mobility standpoint. The mobility revolution in retail has been nothing short of phenomenal over the past couple of years. We've seen mobile devices becoming more and more popular. We have now started seeing mobile point of sales in both sets of retailers, be it the large format or the not so large as the specialty retailers. It is no longer a theoretical concept or a marketing hype that it was perceived till a while ago. It is definitely a reality, and all of us have seen and experienced that. So let's start our examination by looking how specific retail segments plan to approach mobility in stores over the next 12 months. And this is very important when I talk to all my partners, and this also drives the positioning as well as the targets segmenting of the entire industry. Where is that we should try and focus ourselves as far as not only about mobile point of sale, but also retail solutions in general. So coming back to the slide here, approximately 80% of specialty retailers plan to increase their mobile budgets in the stores this year. This segment is proving to be the leading adopter for in-store mobility. Specialty soft goods and specialty hard goods retailer plan to increase about 7.2 and 5.2 respectively. Departmental stores, on the other hand, plan an increase of about half of this level of mobile spending. Now, this is noteworthy because they plan to decrease the overall IT spending in the stores in 2014, while they plan to increase their in-store mobility budget. Both tablets and non-rugged handhelds, which includes iPhones, iPod touches, and other smartphones, show a current penetration of 13%. Food grocery retailers are next in the penetration with a healthy embrace of tablets, 19% using currently in use, 38% will roll out in the next 12 months. The specialty hard goods segment shows a 69% adoption of tablets and 60% adoption of non-handheld rugged devices over the next 2 years. And the key segments that will roll out tablets in the next 12 months are departmental store, food, grocery, and specialty soft goods. Now, that's very important for us. Again, from the target segment that we try and target, that departmental stores, food and grocery stores, and specialty soft goods particularly have plans of rolling out tablets in the next 12 months or so. So terminal point of sale technologies have streamlined retail operations for a decade, but they've now reached the limits, and there is only so much innovation that can be brought about in them. The new age customers have started demanding efficient technologies to ease of their shopping experiences, and the stats below truly confirm the trend on the adoption of mobile point of sale. Just see the trend here. 85% of large format retailers believe that in the next 3 years, mobile point of sale will serve as additional transaction point in their stores, while only 12.5 or 12.4% retailers feel that mobile point of sale will cannibalize traditional point of sale, which means to say both of them will stay. Both mobile point of sale and terminal point of sale will definitely stay, but the trend is significantly towards getting more and more mobile point of sales in the stores. So there's definitely a serious trend towards, getting mobile devices in the stores. So let's talk about the connotations of mobility for a large retailer. So when we talk about a large retailer, we're looking at a large format retail stores uh, who are typically characterized by slightly lesser number of stores as compared to the number of point of sales that they would have. So when we talk about a large retailer where the footfall is high and the storage area is huge, a classical mobile point of sale would be utilized more from the viewpoint of providing that personalized experience to a large format store, the same experience that a customer would expect when he would go to a specialty store. The idea is to bring about that kind of, should I say, consumer experience when somebody is in a large format store. And one way to do that, retailers have identified, one way to do that is to get the point of sale or the point of service to the consumer and not the other way around. Queue busting is a very popular phrase, if you may, but it has its own set of challenges. So we are not talking about queue busting here. We are talking about enhancing end consumer experience, giving the end consumer that personalized touch that he would typically receive in a specialty store. Of course, the mobile point of sale in the context of a large format store can always be utilized as an additional checkout point when the queues become slightly unmanageable, typically around the festive season. You definitely can put up a checkout counter, okay, where the setting it up is that much more easier. You just have to put a tablet on a table with a printer and a scanner, and that's about it. So it occupies far less real estate space than what a traditional point of sale would require. As I'm saying in the slide, it's easy to set up extension counters during the festive season. The second type of retailers, which are specialty retailers, are characterized by where the store area is small and the limited walk-ins. In these set of retailers, utilize or rather have utilized the mobile point of sale to its absolute maximum. There are two ways that a specialty retailer utilizes a mobile point of sale. One, of course, is by providing that additional customer service where the point of sale comes to the customer and not the other way around. Imagine an Apple store where there isn't a fixed checkout counter. Everything is mobile by that definition. The other important use case or applicability of a mobile device in the case of specialty retailers is when the retailer wants to open, let's say, a kiosk or wants to open a small shop in an exhibition. It's more from the point where the retailer is traveling more often in exhibitions, in conferences, in weekend flea markets, etc. A typical case would be when a retailer would like to open, a small weekend shop in up of New York in Woodbury's Commons. Okay, you don't need a huge IT infrastructure. All you need is a mobile device. It could be as simple and small in form factor as an iPhone, for example, or it could be slightly more rugged as, let's say, an iPad or an Android tablet for that matter. So scalability becomes very easy when we're talking about mobile point of sale. And that's a very important message that I want to send out, that it's the scalability bit which is of great interest to retailers. Not only the specialty guys, but also the large format guys. Scalability, where it's easier for you to deploy a point of scale. It's easy for you to scale up, okay? When you're trying to open, let's say, a kiosk in a mall or an exhibition or event, or opening a new store up country somewhere. So scalability is extremely important. The other thing, important parameter in the context of mobile point of sale is the sustainability. When we say sustainability, we are looking at how easy and convenient would it be to procure, to operate, and to maintain a mobile device. So typically what happens is a mobile point of sale would be some kind of a mobile app. It could be downloaded either from an app store or from Google Play. The point I'm trying to make here is that from a sustainability standpoint, the application should be easy to procure, install, and configure. What that means is that you should be able to operate the application the way you would operate any other mobile app. Mobile device, and in the context of this webinar, and in the current context when we talk about Ivan mobile point of sale, it connects directly to the head office server when it is connected from outside the store, or the application to connect to the store server when it is within the store. The idea is how convenient and easy from a sustainable standpoint it is for the application to record the transactions and other such preferences. So this slide actually sums up the discussion so far. Okay, we have firmly established that mobile devices, and especially mobile point of sale, is now a business imperative for the retailers. And why not? Look at the benefits. You have lower investment thresholds, and we spoke about this a while ago, how a retailer can expand faster without really investing in the IT infrastructure. There is definitely an increase in the efficiencies, the overall efficiencies, be it checkouts are faster, and there is very little real estate space that would be required. Okay, so let's move on to the other connotation of mobility as is applicable to the end consumers. Let me start by showing you a very compelling piece of statistics. The mobile specific e-commerce revenue will be to the tune of something like $638 billion by 2018. And this is as much, and if not more, than the total e-commerce revenue generated last year in 2013. Just imagine the stats that we're talking about. Just imagine the scale at which the whole thing would grow, and exponentially at that. And it's time that retailers take cognizance of this and start incorporating e-commerce and m-commerce in the larger application landscape. And talking about m-commerce, which typically is the, should I say, the customer-facing part of mobile devices, it has to do far more than just rendering an online portal on a mobile device. It's not about the HTML stuff that you render it in a very different manner. It's the whole experience that the end customer goes through while trying to do business or trying to buy something on a mobile device. Imagine it's a very small form factor as far as, let's say, an iPhone or a phone category mobile device is concerned. It's a slightly small form factor. The idea is to make it as intuitive as possible because there isn't any real estate space available on an iPhone kind of a mobile device as compared to, let's say, a tablet mobile device. So what are we looking at here? To some of the benefits that a consumer gets from m-commerce enabled application. First and the foremost is that the retailer adds another fast-growing channel of sales through the mobile and tablets. The second is the multiple shipping options available for the consumer, that rather the multiple shipping options that the consumer gets to choose and to select the most appropriate option from them. And one of them could very well be pick up at the store while going back home, or for that matter going to a birthday party. The e-commerce and the m-commerce allow you to very easily compare two separate products. Let's say if you're buying shoes, if you're buying apparel, you can easily compare, and it happens more so in the case of electronics, where you can select two products and then try and compare them for the specifications. What I'm trying to say is that a consumer is spoiled for choice and gets the best value for his money. And finally, it's all about convenience. It's all about convenience. All of us who have only so much time during the course of the day, we all understand that m-commerce or e-commerce or anything on those lines is definitely very convenient. So this brings me to the third part of the entire discussion, where we talk about the second form factor, or the second connotation of mobility from a consumer standpoint, where we talk about how mobile devices are helping consumers and helping retailers to retain the customers, and for consumers to become that much more brand loyalist, if you may. Look at the statistics. 44% of the consumers are interested in joining programs that offer mobile coupons. 50% of loyalty program members want mobile gift cards and reward certificates. Again, a clear shift towards mobility, having coupons, gift cards, loyalty cards, all available as mobile coupons, which could be topped up, redeemed, updated. You don't have to carry additional pieces of plastic and paper. You just carry the entire data on your phone, and you are able to, of course, you are able to go green. We're talking about digital passes and coupons, okay? And in my earlier discussions, we definitely have talked about Ivan passes and digital passes, where we are utilizing Apple Passbook functionality to and extend it to the retailers, where retailers can send out digital passes and coupons to the customers. And the customers, all they need to do is maintain those digital passes in their phones. And should they want to redeem, they just have to flash the phone. The retailer scans the barcode using a 2D barcode scanner, and you are able to either redeem or accumulate points. And just it gives a very good feeling. I mean, at least I definitely get a very good feeling. I have experienced digital passes in a very different place as a boarding pass given by United Airlines. It is a very nice experience. You are treated specially just because you're treated special just because you have a digital pass kind of a boarding pass. There is a separate line. That's what I've experienced. And because I travel internationally so often, okay, you just have to show your boarding pass on your mobile device, and that everything else in the back end takes care of the fact that whether I entered the country or whether I left the country. So that's more on that at some other time. But the same technology, what we have done is that we've utilized the Apple Passbook functionality, and we are allowing retailers to integrate the loyalty points, gift cards, and coupons, and give that personalized service to the consumers. As you can see on the screen, the digital pass that you see is fully customizable. You can have your own logo, your own color scheme, and you can have your own image mentioned there. All this leads to better social interaction and improved personalization, better fraud protection management, where coupons are specific to the person whom they have been sent to, and not to mention the convenience that I talked about. Another very good thing about the digital passes and Ivan's passes specifically is the ability to geofence them. So what happens is whenever you can actually define on the map the different locations of your stores that you have, and whenever a consumer comes in the vicinity, he will get an update that you have so many loyalty points, or your coupon is going to expire, you have your gift card validity is only so much, and etc. So it's a slightly impersonal way of letting the consumer know that, hey, I'm here. Okay, I'm very close. Should you want, you can always come over and do some shopping. So that's one big advantage, and it really helps when we're talking about a retailer which is geographically spread across a country or across countries for that matter. We're able to send out those intimations and updates. So when we talk about digital passes, two clear beneficiaries, customer and the retailers. Retailers get high conversion. They utilize the geofencing feature to provide convenience to the customers. Retailers can do through geofencing, the location-based marketing, that whenever somebody comes in the vicinity, and you can define the word vicinity. It could be, let's say 100 yards or maybe 3 miles. So you can define the word vicinity as to what is close. Let's say, for example, if you're going on a highway, okay, you would need at least a couple of miles before you could actually pull up and stand and you can go to the store. So you can define that vicinity. So location-based marketing, which allows the retailers to give timely reminders to the customers that their coupons are going to expire, or their validity is going to expire, or they are only so many points away from the next slab, etc. So clearly there is a cross-channel momentum. There is, should I say, amalgamation and convergence of mobility, m-commerce, and digital passes. There's one important aspect that I have not covered in this webinar today, again more because paucity of time, and is about analytics. And in some other discussion, we'll talk about how the fourth pillar of retailing in current context has these things as the four important pillars: mobility, and e-commerce, digital passes, or should I say, new age innovations, and analytics. Analytics, not necessarily the big data part of it, but the ability to sift through transactional data and try and make some meaning out of it. We'll talk about analytics in a separate discussion, but in the current context, three very important pillars: mobility, e-commerce, and digital passes are definitely a business imperative. Mobility, by virtue of its smaller and portable footprint, for targeted sales, speedier checkouts, m-commerce, from the viewpoint that it's pure convenience, nothing else, from a customer standpoint, and a very strong channel of sales from a retailer standpoint. Again, statistically speaking, the retail industry today is moving towards something like 20% of the sales coming from e-commerce. You could never take away the brick and mortar business. It's just that, can you add another channel to it? So yes, e-commerce and m-commerce have definitely taken over. And one statistic I talked about, 638 billion by 2018, is indeed compelling. And finally, digital passes. Digital passes themselves have, kind of, should I say, evolved. It's not about sending an update on the phone. It's about somebody coming in the vicinity and, you're getting a targeted message for that individual. So if Steve Trzynski were to walk into Macy's, for example, he will get that personalized thing. It's only specific for Steve Trzynski. So before I conclude, I also want to talk about the best practices in deploying mobile POS technology. One, of course, is start to adopt early. Don't wait for the perfect plan or the perfect solution to come around, because there isn't one. Because the technology is ever evolving. Okay, by the time you realize, something new has come up. The idea is to tie up with someone who is keeping pace with the technology and ensuring that your investments are covered from the viewpoint that should the technology change, you are covered from an upgrade and update standpoint. Another very important concept when we talk about mobility is that mobile devices, and specifically used in the context of a point of sale, should have the ability to do transactions both in the online as well as the offline mode. So it should operate both in the online offline mode, which essentially means that in the offline mode, the point of sale should have the capability of having some kind of a database on the mobile device itself. Now, imagine the form factor of the device, and then we're talking about a database on top of it, which already on a form factor or on a phone which already has a million applications on it. So that's a very important consideration. The point I'm trying to make here when I say flexible transaction setup, be it online and offline, is that you should be able to judge and evaluate the underlying technology. Try and choose a solution that is platform and hardware agnostic. There are only so many platforms available from a mobile standpoint, so it should be available on at least on iOS and the Android platform. And security is another major concern. Because we're talking about a mobile device, we're talking about a Wi-Fi network within the store, and we're talking about credit card transactions being done on the mobile device. It's very important to ensure that your application provider has all the checks and balances from a security standpoint, essentially PCI, PADSS compliance, and the other stuff. So essentially what we're talking about is a retail solution which is integrated, scalable, secure, and always available. We're looking at Ivan Retail Management Suite, which has the classical terminal point of sale, a mobile point of sale, digital passes, analytics, customer loyalty management, and of course e-commerce. Just wanted to add that we released a new version 6.2 last week. A quantum jump in terms of the feature functionality it has to offer from a sheer feature functionality list standpoint. It's a hugely humongous long list. I sincerely urge you guys to visit the ivan.com website and also visit a blog there where we talk about what are different features that have been introduced. And also, not only are the feature functionalities added, but a couple of new licensed components which have been added, transaction server being one of them, for example. Sales forecasting is another licensed component. Inventory through mobile handheld devices is one more. And there are a few which are free. For example, MRP calculations are all free. So we have really taken a quantum jump and a leap as far as Ivan 6.2 is concerned. I'm sorry for digressing because it's I couldn't have resisted mentioning that there is 6.2 available now. So with that, thank you so much. What I'll do is before I go, I would like to invite any kind of questions. The best way to do that is to raise the hand. There's a small hand icon in your control panel, and I will unmute you. You can always ask a question from on the chat window. Okay, I have this question in the chat coming up. It says, what has been your experience on the types of retailers who are aggressively looking for a mobile POS and other mobile technologies? As I said earlier, the mobile point of sale is no longer a fad or a nice to have gadget. Deploying a mobile point of sale nowadays is very much a part of the retailer strategy. And talking specifically about where a POS is getting popularity, I would like to say that it is the specialty retailers who have a higher rate of adoption than the large format retailers. Not that they are not, it's just that they have a tendency to adopt it that much more. This session is being recorded and will be available for an on-demand viewing from websites of City Access, Ivan Knowledge Portal, and of course from the websites of Support One. The session is being recorded and you will be able to view it there. For now, we sign off, and thank you so much for having attended the session. I look forward to interacting with you guys again. I will be conducting another webinar very shortly. This would be specifically around the licensing components of 6.2. I look forward to meeting you guys there. Thanks so much and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.